It was, the police said, a significant terror plot that could have been worse than the 7/7 attacks on London. Irfan Nasir, Ashiq Ali and Irfan Khalid from Birmingham were convicted of planning an attack in a crowded public place. If it had been carried out, there would have been mass casualties. The police described the trio as committed extremists, but at times in court they'd come across as almost as incompetent as the characters in the satirical film Four Lions. Their motivation, the court heard, was a vague hatred of Western society. Fatima Manji reports.
Hasn't stopped yet. It's a strange way to stop, isn't it?
This is the moment police stop 3 men who wanted to carry out the biggest terrorist attack in UK history. In their own words, another 9/11.
They planned on planting a lot of bombs, some suicide bombs, where they were looking to kill and maim lots and lots of people. They were out to cause some really serious harm. They've been interrupted at a very early stage and we're a lot safer as a result.
Irfan Khalid, Irfan Nasir and Ashiq Ali, all born and brought up in Birmingham, yet determined to spill blood on these streets. The 3 were unemployed and spent their time hatching a murderous plan in the Balsall Heath area of the city. It was at the home of Ashiq Ali that the men met to plot. This was their safe house for months, and they bought blackout curtains to avoid detection. In the kitchen of this 1-bedroom flat, they experimented with bomb making. They talked of weapons and explosives, of numbers of people that they could kill, and how to buy items required for bomb making without arousing suspicion. Unknown to them, MI5 was already listening in. Inside this flat, hidden bugs recorded Nasir describing a coordinated attack by multiple suicide bombers.
7 or 8 in different places with timers on at the same time. Boom, boom, boom.
The men discussed how the 7/7 London bombings could have been even more destructive.
You know what they forgot? They didn't put the nails and stuff in, man.
They did far more than just talking. Their plan needed money, and they found a way to get it. By pretending to be charity volunteers, they collected more than £13,000 from their community. Surveillance cameras caught them in the act. Throughout August 2011, the men walked these streets with charity buckets and fundraising bibs. They used megaphones calling out to shoppers, urging them to donate. And yet the majority of the money they collected never ended up with charities. One of these charities was Muslim Aid. How damaging do you think this will be long-term to the reputation of Muslim Aid?
When the police approached us to say that there had been this abuse, it was completely out of the blue and was a real shock to us. What they did was an absolute abuse of our name and our activity as a charity.
Police later found some of the money when they raided Ashiq Ali's house. So they'd accomplished the first part of their plan, getting money, but the next phases were bungled. One of the would-be bombers compared their group to the 4 incompetent terrorists in the black comedy Four Lions.
Oh, you think this is flipping Four Lions? Well, 1 man short. There's 3 of us.
They were 1 man short, but their approach seemed similar. They lost nearly all of the cash they'd made such an effort to collect. They appointed Raheen Ahmed, who's already pleaded guilty to terror charges, as their financial mastermind. He tried investing their cash in the stock market. Just 2 weeks later, he'd lost nearly every penny. The men needed bomb-making ingredients, including ammonium nitrate. They thought they'd find it in this sports injury pack. It didn't contain any. And they drew up designs for their bomb, which Ashiq Ali was supposed to burn. He failed to do so. Police later found it in a bin bag and used it as key evidence against them.
There's no doubt whatsoever that they had the ability, they had the training, they'd drawn a very detailed map of a bomb, a blueprint of a bomb. Expert evidence, categorically states that is a viable device.
It was Nasir and Khalid who had travelled to Pakistan for terror training, and they arranged for others to make the same journey. This airport CCTV shows them dispatching 4 other young men to Pakistan. But just a few days later, these men were back in Birmingham after their families found out what they were up to and demanded they return home. These 4 have already pleaded guilty to being involved in preparing terrorist acts. As for the ringleaders, today at Woolwich Crown Court, the judge, Mr. Justice Enriquez, told them to expect life in prison. saying it was clear they were planning a spectacular bombing campaign which would create an anniversary along the lines of 7/7 or 9/11. They will be sentenced before June.